Hello and welcome to a very special video as I hit the camera like an idiot. There we go. And we're going to talk about a few things. Well, I'm going to show off a little bit of what I've been working on while I've been sick and mostly talk about this particular topic. Is it fashionable to hate on Games Workshop? Yay. Criticism always somehow turns into hate for some reason. I don't understand this, but I can understand to a degree some people might take it too far. So, speaking from my own experiences, I show off this really clunky old Contemptor Dreadnought. I don't know you remember where I got him. I did try to add some movement and some other details, but it happens. The thing is really simple. I have not, in the lifetime of this channel, criticized or gone after Games Workshop because it was fashionable. I did it simply because, honestly, I thought they were offering a less than good product. And honestly, if I ever do anything because I think it's popular, it's always the worst idea I've ever done. So I'm not really going to do that. And the thing is, I'm long since past the need to be angry at Games Workshop. I think what's happening is a little bit of something different. I think what is going on is people are admittedly getting tired of the rigmarole from the company. In fact, I think this is happening with a lot of companies. Now, these are a couple of my really old test models, which I'll try to show off half decently. They're pretty decent little models. You can tell the paint's changed over time. And the thing is, I think it really comes down to, like so many other situations, you have a frustration that's been growing with people. And one of those, and this was a gift I recently got, so of course many years after he was important, the thing is, at the end of the day, because this is a little disjointed, I apologize, is that a lot of people are tapping into this kind of anger, this bit of a rage, you might say, towards these companies, and just a general discontentment, because honestly, it feels like in so many cases you're being milked, you're being lied to effectively in many ways. You're having FOMO used to try to get you to make unwise decisions when it comes to purchases. They're changing things that don't need to be changed and then scurrying back to older designs like we've seen with the Ultramarines. The Ultramarines recent release effectively, and as far as I'm concerned, justifying my comment that Primaris were entirely a marketing thing from a corporation that really didn't know what its own customers wanted. This is a conversion, by the way. Effectively, at the end of the day, if people are criticizing the company because it's providing a bad product, it's not living up to things, if they feel that there's too little value for too much cost, that the company is mucking with and changing its own things, and you're used to being surrounded by a more positive situation, this might come across as being a unfortunate situation. Oh, people are suddenly overly negative. One, people have been negative around Warhammer for as long as I have known about Warhammer. And considering that's longer than some of you have been probably alive who watched this. Oh, felt really old right there and said that. But that's not a own on anyone. That's not me bragging at anyone. That's me going, there's always been a sense of negativity and discontentment, and people have complained about a lot of things for a while. It's just that I think it's starting to catch up with people who have been further in the bubble of Warhammer content or the hobby. the kitten crying in the background. She's wanting food, but she has to wait a little bit longer because her food has to warm up. She has a tender stomach. Are honestly starting to kind of get the wafts of it, and I think that you can see this kind of starting to foment more in just your normal person. If you like Primaris Marines or you hate them like me, that doesn't matter. I'm more concerned with, are you getting something of value or not? And I, as far as I believe, do not believe you are getting anything of value. That you are fundamentally getting less, and Games Workshop has used the Primaris as a vehicle to do this under the guise of improving things. And all they've really done is bloated the line, created a weird system where people have to like determine which of like how many freaking line or infantry units are there for Primaris at this point. It's ridiculous. It's kind of crazy. And they were saying it was bloated before. The more they get rid of Firstborn, the more they're going to bloat the Primaris. Just letting you guys know. As they slowly wipe them away. The problem really just is that people are starting to be more commonly in discontent. And they're on top of it. You have social media. You have the ability for people to go and voice their angers and discontents, and I think that's fine. I think it's a healthy thing. The problem, as far as I'm concerned, is that most companies are not interested in changing for the audience they have. They're too busy changing for the audience they want. And Games Workshop is selling its soul for temporary surge in pop culture, which is a really bad idea. Trust me, it's not worked out for a huge amount of franchises. But hey, they plan on cashing out, so what's it matter to them? I got a couple guys prepped here as well. If anyone wants to know about how I do the basing, I can do a video that tries to cover it better than my last one. But the thing is, at the end of the day, is I don't think it's cool to hate X company or Y company. I don't think it's cool to voice your discontentment with the company. What I think is happening is it's coming more and more to a peak where people are going, I'm sick and tired of this company disregarding my interest, disregarding what made the game interesting and important to me, so that they can appease a group of people who, well, let's be perfectly honest, don't generally play the game. If they do, they generally steal most of this stuff or get it online. And 3, are only there for the temporary amount of time that the thing is going to be popular. Because like Locust, they're going to move to the next field that they can use for their political bullshit. And that's for any side of the aisle. I just dislike it so freaking much. I hate the fact that the hobbies have been turned into a battleground for nonsense. But I've been working on some of these Space Marine Heroes. Series 1, I think. I've been just like, hey, I've had some of these. So, why not? But point on, as I've rambled, it's not cool to hate Games Workshop. What's happening is people are getting to a peak with their frustrations. Thank you, neighbor. I really appreciate your bullshit. Are getting to a peak with the frustrations going on. They're getting to a peak with what they consider a value and not a value. And increasingly, they're seeing Games Workshop make choices and decisions to change things for an audience that mostly screams for effort, change, time, and money, but very, very rarely actually invest into the company to keep it actually profitable in the float. There are people who don't really invest in the hobby to the extent of the people that they're telling the company to disregard. It's absolutely insane in my opinion. But no, it's not cool. It never will be. And the frustration is that you being the person criticizing something is often one of the most thankless positions, as yet another neighbor drives like an idiot, is one of the most thankless positions you can be. That's not a whine, that's not a pity fest, it's just the truth. You're either negative for no reason by what most people consider, you're a doomsayer, or, my absolute favorite, you're seeing nothing. There's nothing to consider here, guys. It's all in your mind. It's all made up. It's all a fantasy brought to you by Disney, or potentially purchased by Disney and then ruined by Disney. But regardless, it's not fun being the person complaining about it. I don't want to complain about these things, but when I see a deficiency in quality, when I see deficiency in value, and even if it's something I'm not myself interested in, and I go, hey, I don't think that's the best product you could give or produce at that price for the people that would be potentially interested. I think you should do better. And what thanks is there besides being told you're negative? You're a negative Nancy. We don't like negative Nancys around here, but we do like these Space Hero ones. And I'm gonna finish it off by showing off. I've rebased these old. I believe these might be from the first plastic Assault Marine kit. It's been forever. The reason they're not on the original bases is those were all broken off, and some of the stuff got smashed. So, you go with what you got. And I plan on using them in a 3rd edition 40K game, so there you go. But to close off things, as I've been just rambling on like a maniac, it's not cool, but it's a needed thing. Without criticism, without people actually going, hey, maybe this one was actually, I think, ruined by the molding process. That's how it came, by the way. Very old plastics. Effectively, without the criticism, nothing will get better and things will never correct. And honestly, at this point, not to be a doomer or any of that, but I don't believe there is a correction point. All we can do is try to preserve the stuff as we know, have our own little communities and groups that value these things and disregard the stuff that GW has been putting out. Or as I saw it put, and I credit to whoever came up with it, but it was RIB or RID. And I don't remember the whole thing. It was reject, ignore, and disregard. That's how I'm just effectively looking at any changes that Games Workshop does to their product when it comes to their lore. I'm doing my own thing. And eventually I might start bringing that to the channel if people really want to hear some rambling madman's take on the lore. And it's not because I hate women. It's not because I dislike people with different views and whatever else. I mean, I really don't care, honestly. It's more that consistency within the lore is one of the things, in my opinion, that made Warhammer as popular and well loved as it is. And now we see them stripping it away, and I think what's manifesting in this whole thing is that people feel that they are missing, or something's being torn away from them, that the thing that they care about is being yanked out from under them, and it's manifesting in this negativity because people on some level realize what's going on, but they can't put their finger on it. So they go, well, this is making me angry, and I'm going to be angry at this company. I'm projecting my anger at the company, but I might not know why. And honestly, no one's going to make Games Workshop change except the idiots at the top. And I don't really think that's going to happen. But that's my personal opinion. Hey, what do you guys think? Would you guys like to know anything more about how these are painted? Future projects? Do I prefer pancakes over waffles? Just let me know. And you have a wonderful day. Bye bye.